Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for joining me. I'll have my camera up in just a moment, and then I will also be adding the audience from Facebook because we got some people there who are waiting. So I'm going to be adding that as well so that everybody can be included. Okay, once again, I want to tell you thank you so much. I'm really grateful for all of the motivation that came in from last week's meeting. Let's see, we've got a lot of sun in my face here. I don't know how well you guys can see me. Yeah, that's a lot of sun, but it'll work out. Okay, so let me go ahead and open up these docs and let's get the people in from the live stream. So we can go from there. Let's see. And we're going to be going over the homeownership pre-planning and much, much more. Here we go. So now I'm getting ready to pull this curriculum up so you guys can see it. We'll get it open in here in just a second, and we will be good to go. All right, so in reviewing from last week, we went over some things in the homeownership pre-planning and much, much more manual that we use for this course. And I want to say to you guys that I really appreciate all the feedback that I got. It's this book right here. And the book I used last week had all kinds of sticky pads and sticky notes in it because I needed it to to locate different information that was in the book, and I needed notes to help me with that. So I had notes all over the place, but I appreciate your patience and some of your kind comments that made me feel as though it wasn't as bad as it might have seemed with all those little sticky papers. I'm gonna get a copy of it. Yeah, it's got all of these post-its in it. And it's funny because I use them to help me in particular parts of, when we're going over the contents of the information. Okay, so let's get right into this. So when we talk about homeownership pre-planning and much, much more, it's for business owners and for ministries to be able to purchase real estate. First of all, I want to say to you, I'm Jacqueline Battle, and I am a realtor with National Land Realty. I'm a land professional, and we describe ourselves as land professionals because we specialize in the marketing of land, anything to do with selling, leasing land, listing land. We specialize in the marketing of land. Some of the realtors that are a part of National Land Realty, they're topographers. Some are land biologists. I am a land title insurance agent. And so I specialize in the title history of land, of insuring the land against any past claims that people may try to bring in the future that has something to do with the past and the title. There, we issue a commitment, we issue a policy that covers the title history of your land and protects you against somebody that may come along in the future and try to make a claim regarding something that may have taken place in the past. And so Being a land professional means that we concentrate and focus on those things that have to do with land, whether it's land development, whether it's someone purchasing land and they want to build on it, whether they purchase land that already has a home or an edifice, a building on it, but it has quite a bit of acreage on it, more than the standard 5 acres. These are things that we get involved with. We also sell any type of real estate. We're realtors, we're licensed, and we know how to, most of us are like me. We've been in the business for several decades. So we specialize in a variation of things that have to do with real estate development, down to the individual that's purchasing property for the very first time and they're interested in some type of down payment assistance, the DPAs that are available, or they're individuals who have purchased property before and now they're looking for a specific type of property. People who are looking for acreage for agricultural purposes or other reasons, recreational purposes. Somebody who wants to do a homestead and they want to do a agricultural community. We specialize in those types of things. And the difference between a residential realtor and a land professional is that we market the property on platforms that market to those who are looking to purchase land. So we market to those platforms where developers come to. They come to those markets, to those platforms looking for land that is available. Whereas when something is marketed to the general public on a residential platform, they're coming with the mindset of a standard commercial building or a standard residential property that doesn't have as much land. And so if you try to market it in such a way where it's based on the residential market, your land will not get the value that it could get had it been marketed on platforms that specifically cater to the needs of land. And so having gotten that out of the way, the purpose of this class is to help. And again, this book, Homeownership Pre-Planning, and much, much more. It's a book that you can get on Amazon.com. And the purpose of it is to help people equip themselves, if they're business owners or ministries, equip themselves so that they, as the entity, excuse me, the entity itself, not them personally, but the entity can purchase real estate. And it shows them how to plan, how to get themselves prepared to purchase land. Groups are purchasing property now, and they're incorporating themselves, and they're purchasing property now to form agricultural communities to further prepare themselves for the onslaught of how the progression of things are moving. Okay, so when we talked last week, we talked about a customer that I have. And this particular customer, he has gone through this course with me and he has now incorporated his company. We walked through the whole thing. We incorporated his company. We got his financial statements done, and then we got him audited. We got him all set up. And then after he did that, he hired himself as an employee. Guys, I've got this sunlight that's glaring in my eyes and I can see it on the screen. Okay, thank you for your patience. I appreciate that. Hold on a second. Let me go over to see if, because last week I waited until the very last moment before I actually invited those people who were joining me from Facebook. So I don't know if we have people that have joined us on Facebook or not. Let me put my glasses on so I can see. Because I want to make it available to everyone who is interested. Everybody that's interested, I want to give you the opportunity to tune in. So having said that, I'm checking over here just to see, to make sure that everybody is involved that wants to be involved. And now I am going back to what it was that we were doing. Just wanted to make sure that you guys were aboard and that you could see the comments, and it looks like you're aboard and you can see the comments. So I'm going to get back over here. All right, here we go. All right. Oh, wait. There's one thing I want to do to make sure. And I appreciate your patience. Mm. Okay. Make sure we got everything up. Okay, so going back to homeownership, pre-planning, and much, much more for business owners and ministries. The whole purpose of this book and the whole purpose of this course that we do is to help equip business owners and ministries to be able to purchase real estate, to be able to list your real estate properly and have the proper language and everything set up properly. So when things get ready to close, that there are no mishaps that would hinder or prolong or delay the closing, which could possibly cause things to fall apart. So last week we talked about, again, a customer that I have, and he's gone through the course and he got his documentation, his corporate documentation done. We got it filed and everything. And so he made an offer as his corporation. And so what he did was he hired himself. He hired himself as an employee of his corporation. We talked about non-qualifying mortgages, non-qualifying mortgage lenders. So if you remember when we talked about non-qualifying mortgage lenders, it refers to those mortgage lenders who will not require or be more flexible when it comes to your financials, when it comes to certain things, they'll be more flexible. And we talked about those particular type of lenders because business owners sometimes run into particular challenges that can hold them up in terms of purchasing property in the business name. But one of the ways that you can benefit yourself is to make yourself an employee of your corporation. So the customer that I had, and we walked through getting all the corporate documentation done, because you're probably saying, well, now that's beyond the scope of what it is that you do. Well, hold on, let me show you something. I'm going to show you another course that I teach, and that is the course that he took in conjunction with the one that I'm going over with you all right now. He took this additional course, and it's called Easy Corporate Comprehensive Curriculum for New Business Owners. There are a lot of people who've been in business for years, but they don't have any kind of structure. They're operating as a sole proprietorship or as a partnership, and they haven't really actually established that either. So, in this particular course, what it does is it teaches you everything that you need to know in terms of setting up a structure for your corporation. You've already been operating as a business. This is what the book looks like: comprehensive curriculum for new business owners. And so, in here, we talk about how to determine which company you want. You determine the the organization and how you want to set it up. We determine common stock versus preferred stock. Your stock value, whether you're going to have par or no par, the maximum amount of your shares, how you step by step, how to complete the documentation, how to file the documentation and if you can see the dates of the course, each week we meet. So if you're interested in this course, just let me know. You can put a comment in, you can put something in the comments, or you can send me a direct message. It goes all the way through everything that you need to do in terms of incorporating step by step, and even how to set up your software. It talks about how to hire other employees, but there is a section in here that talks about how to hire yourself, the necessary steps in terms of hiring yourself as an employee. And that's the part that he did. We walked through that. We got him hired. We've got even different models here that you may want to use to set up your corporation. And so we went through all of that, and as he got his documents filed and everything, and was paying himself a salary and had all that set up with his withholding account, his federal account, and this, that, and the other, it was easier for the lenders to get him approved for financing to purchase his real estate that he wanted to use for his company. And so what he did as he hired himself, he of course, was paying himself in regular intervals and making sure that he reported his withholdings. Every quarter, you report your withholdings. The very next month after each quarter, you report your withholdings. So he had his two most recent paycheck stubs, several paycheck stubs, but he needed two most recent. He had his tax returns from the prior years that he was able to use. He had his bank statements that he was able to use, and his debt to income ratio was well within the qualifying rates. This created consistency in his income, and it also demonstrated financial stability and reliability, which is crucial if you're going with a mortgage that's qualifying. If you're going with a non-qualifying mortgage lender, and of course, if you want to figure out where I'm getting this information from, if you look in the homeownership pre-planning manual that we use in this course, on pages 164 and 165 all the way through 168, you'll see there firstly the definition of a non-qualifying mortgage, and that's a mortgage where there are flexible underwriting guidelines, making it more suitable for business owners and individuals to meet traditional that are not necessarily the traditional lending criteria. These are not predatory lenders. These are not hard money lenders. Although I need to make sure you understand, hard money lenders are not necessarily predatory. Hard money lenders are those lenders that loan money for you to purchase real estate and work whatever project it is and get out of that project, pay them off within 18 to 24 months. I think the longest length of time that a hard money lender would allow you to use the money that they've loaned you would be for 60 months. That's stretching it. Normally it's from 18 to 24 months. They don't necessarily charge exorbitant rates. They just want to make sure that you have an exit plan. They'll loan you the money, and it doesn't have to be based on traditional qualifying in terms of lending. What they want to see is that you have an exit strategy. You have a way that's beneficial, that's sure, almost surefire, that will pay off the loan, the monies that they've loaned to you with the amount of interest that they've charged within the time frame, the short term of the loan. And that's what makes it hard money, because normally it's going to be extremely short term, 12 to 24 months, and you're paying them off. You're getting out of that deal, you're paying them off. Even if you don't get out of the deal, you refinance it and you pay them off. So that's a hard money lender. That's different from a non-qualifying mortgage lender. Non-qualifying mortgage lenders are not necessarily, and most of the time, not hard money lenders, but they are companies that understand that traditional underwriting guideline criteria may not, it may exclude some business owners. It may not be suitable for the way that business owners operate, and yet business owners are very viable borrowers, and so they want to get in on that market of borrowers who are very viable, and yet they don't meet the criteria for the qualifying mortgages. I hope that makes sense. So when you look at that type of lender, we have a list of them in the book Homeowner Pre-Planning, and much, much more. There's a list of them. There's a definition of non-qualifying versus qualifying. There's a list of the lending criteria, the debt to income ratio. In this book, it also shows you how to determine, how to calculate your debt to income ratio. So you understand, you don't have to wait for a lender to tell you what your debt to income ratio is. You know, because there's a calculation in here that shows you how to do it, how to gather all of your debts, and how to multiply that or divide that into the amount of income that you make. But it's more detailed. The whole formula is here in the book. As a business owner, this book helps you to determine and figure out your financial statements. Well, it also talks about the criteria for qualifying. And so that brings us to this book, Easy Corporate Comprehensive Curriculum for Business Owners. Is another book that's available to you that we teach from both books in these courses. And in this book, it tells you how you can set yourself up, how you can, if you're a business owner, you can hire yourself. If you're a ministry, you can hire yourself as an employee. You can set up your withholding account with federal and with the local state, and you can do your filings and you can pay yourself regular increments, um, a check from the company that you deposit, and then you on regular basis into your account, and you are able to, as you deposit it, you show that as viable income. Okay. And that helps you to be able to qualify as a business owner or as a ministry. Okay. Okay. So you see that section in there. Now, that's not a portion of that is found in this book. And this is the manual that we use for this course. But another portion of it is found in this book that's going to be becoming available pretty soon. And it's called Easy Corporate Comprehensive Curriculum for New Business Owners. Because there's so much, you jump into a business and that's great, but you want to set it up in such a way that you've got something that's sustainable. Also, in this course, we talk about how you want to file your articles of incorporation, or your articles of organization, depending on whether you're going to be an LLC or a C corporation. It talks about how you determine the stock that you're going to issue, whether it's going to be preferred or whether it's going to be common stock. Anyway, that's an image of the book. And it's very easy. And it's a very easy course that comes along with it. And if you're interested in it, reach out to me. I've got some people that are taking the course right now. Now, when you take that course, it's an individual course. So nobody is in there with you. There's no live on there. This is a private course. That course is whereby you pay for a certain portion of time, you pay for a certain amount of the courses, and we go through it, and you get a certification after the fact, a certification that will stand up. um, Now, this brings us back to understanding why it's necessary to create consistent incomes. Because see, consistent income demonstrates, as we mentioned before, financial stability and reliability. And that's what qualifying mortgage companies are looking for. They're looking, that it's crucial that you be able to pay that loan back. And so when we look at options in terms of debt to income ratio versus for non-qualifying versus qualifying, in this book you can look on pages 165 to 168, and it will give you the differences between the two. And of course, non-qualifying mortgage lenders will allow slightly higher debt to income ratio than qualifying mortgages. But either way, if you're going through this course, you'll know how to set yourself up in such a way that you qualify. This is pre-planning. This is setting yourself up so that you'll be able to qualify. And the first thing we talked about this week was hiring yourself. Hiring yourself as an employee of your company. Firstly, incorporating yourself either as an LLC or as a C corporation. You want to do that initially so that you're separating your personal from the corporation, so that the corporation is an entity in and of itself and you are separate from that, meaning that the entity can hire you as an employee, pay you regular intervals with checks from the corporation, from the corporate account. And that's another thing in that course that I just showed you, the easy corporate comprehensive curriculum for new business owners. It shows you all the necessary documentation that's necessary to open your corporate bank account, how to set up your corporate escrow versus your operating account, and how to keep that separate from your personal. It talks about the tax implications. All of that is in that course. Easy corporate comprehensive curriculum for new business owners. Now, that doesn't mean that you just started. You could have been in business for years, operating as a sole proprietorship or as a partnership, something like that, or even an S corporation, something where your corporation is not an entity in and of itself. So you're not able to hire yourself in such a way that the corporation would be separate from you. All of those ways that I just mentioned, sole proprietorship, partnership, all of those involve your personal taxes being the gateway whereby the IRS determines the amount of income that flows through your company is done through your personal taxes. There's no separate entity. But when you file in this way, your articles of incorporation, and you become a corporation or LLC, it's a separate entity. Yes, there's dual taxation, but you're paying yourself. So the corporation makes a certain amount of money, and you're able to write off most of that all the way down to, zero in some cases. And then you're taking a salary from that. So you're not going to owe as much taxes depending on how your taxes are calculated and determined. That's the way that you file them. That's up to you. But there are ways that you can file your corporate taxes so that you're not expending quite a bit of money. And then you're taking a salary as an employee of the corporation, and you're paying withholdings and you're paying federal taxes because you're receiving income from that. And so you can pay yourself the amount that you negotiate with your company, and its viability, and what you're able to do and paying yourself, but it creates consistency. So this week we talked about consistency in income and how you can hire yourself. The corporation can hire you as an employee. So now when you go to qualify for something, you don't have to say, this is my company. You don't have to say, I have a vested interest in this company. You're an employee of whatever the name of that corporation is. You have all the documentation that verifies that you're an employee. You have all the documentation that verifies that you're paying the federal and the state withholdings. You're complying with everything you need to comply with. You've got your own personal taxes that you're filing. You've got your paper trail and the way that you're depositing into your bank account. You have set things up. And I hear a lot of people say, yeah, but now you're paying double taxes. Well, that means that whoever's doing your taxes for you doesn't understand how you can file your corporate taxes. Because when you file your corporate taxes, there are so many benefits of write-offs, of expenses and things that you're involved with that you can write off in your corporation. Things that you need to do to sustain the corporation, but there's a cost to it. You can write off so much of that. You can write off a certain part of your office or all of your office, depending on where your office is located and how much of it you use for the business. You can write off certain costs that's involved with your employees and the maintenance of the company. By the time you write off everything that you need to write off in that corporation, if you're paying taxes, it shouldn't be as much. The bulk of your taxes will come from you paying the salary that you receive as an employee of the corporation. So what I'm saying to you is, as a business owner, you can qualify to purchase real estate for non-qualifying and qualifying loans if you hire yourself as an employee of the company. This is what we've talked about this week. Hiring yourself as an employee of the company. Again, this book, Homeownership, Pre-Planning, and much, much more, helps you to understand how you can set yourself up to become a to become a property owner under that business name. Your company, your business can buy that real estate. Well, why is it important? Why should I even want to buy property as a business owner? Well, there's just a lot of business owners that have come to me recently who make quite a bit of income in their business, but they're not able to verify it. They're not able to show it. Well, I'm Jacqueline Battle with National Land Realty, and I've been in the business for decades. Not only am I a licensed realtor, but I have a background in banking and finance that I've been certified for. I also am a licensed land title insurance agent, and I know how to search your property's title history. I know how to determine whether or not the title history is marketable, if it's viable, if there are some things there that are hindering it from being viable, ways that we can clear that up, ways that we can issue title insurance, title policy that will cover your property against claims that may have derived from previous issues on the title of previous owners. I am here as a realtor, a land professional with National Land Realty, to help you in any way that I can. And recently, the way that my customers or clients have needed help to get themselves prepared is that they're business owners and they haven't been able to qualify for qualifying mortgage loans. Well, this book talks about non-qualifying lenders, and it also talks about qualifying lenders, and it talks about all of the qualifying that's necessary. We've even got some FHA information that's in here to help some people qualify, the debt to income ratio, the type of documentation that's necessary to qualify. But business owners sometimes don't have that. There are some business owners that have been in business for years, operating as a sole proprietorship, as a partnership, and they don't have the necessary documentation that shows them as separate from their entity, and they don't have the documentation that can prove that they are financially stable. Well, this book, Homeownership Pre-Planning, and much, much more, along with the other course that you saw, Easy Corporate Comprehensive Curriculum for New Business Owners, shows business owners and ministries how to get themselves in position to buy land. Also, there are a lot of ministries and entities, businesses, and they own real estate already and they want to sell it. And when they go to list it, they're having to list it in their individual names, and that just creates all kind of tax implications when it comes to capital gains. So if you can incorporate, if you can set your company up in such a way that it becomes a separate entity from you, all of this will benefit you. Well, this is what I'm here for, because I've run into this, and I've got people now that we could have closed by now, but we had to walk them through certain things that was necessary to get them in a position to be approved, to get them in a position that would be safe for them to list their land for sale and be protected from certain tax implications when they get ready to close. Okay, so I'm hoping that this information was a help to you. I know we started off slow because I wanted to pull up certain information to make sure that you had it available. This is what we talked about this week. Remember that. Hire yourself. Firstly, incorporate. Secondly, hire yourself as an employee of your corporation so that now you can qualify to purchase property. And I'm happy to say pretty soon we're going to find this individual a property. Well, firstly, we're going to enter into a buyer's agency agreement. That we're getting ready to do that right away. But I provide this service separate from that. So this service I provide to help get you set and pre-plan to now purchase. And I'm hoping that it makes sense. We get you set up so that you can pre-plan as a business owner or as a ministry to purchase or to list your property. It's nothing, I tell you what, it's nothing worse than somebody who owns a lot of property and they've been operating as a business and they bought that thing as a an avenue for their business and they get ready to sell it, and that property or that building or that land is in their own personal name, and they're selling it because they're thinking that they were about to net a certain amount from the sale, and then they get hit with this exorbitant amount of tax costs that they can't write off as individuals that they could have written off as a corporation. So that pendulum swings both ways. You want to incorporate your business. You want to get it set up. You want to pre-plan. And that's what we talk about each week here. We only spend 30 minutes, but I'm telling you, it's well worth it. Getting this book is well worth it because the book is a manual. It's straight to the point, and it's a supporting method or mechanism for this class. But even if you get the book and you don't take this class, it still has a lot of information in it that you can use to help prepare you as a business owner or a ministry to buy and to list real estate. Yeah. And remember, I'm a land professional with National Land Realty. So my objective is to get people set up in such a way that they own land. Now, when we say that, doesn't mean separate from your home. I mean, you can buy a home that's on quite a bit of land. And then you've got your land and your home. When you say land, people think raw land, undeveloped land. Yep, that's a wonderful way to buy land too, because you can flip it. There's all kinds of things that you can do. But another way is to buy land, a home that has quite a bit of land, and then you can subdivide it, and I can show you how to monetize it. The benefit to purchasing land is endless, and the benefit to this homeownership pre-planning and much, much more for business owners and ministries is endless. The benefit of the easy corporate comprehensive curriculum for new businesses, endless. We only have a short amount of time to talk each Sunday. But when you get the book, it'll help you even more. If you want to reach out to me, I've got people enrolling in the other class as well, and that's a separate class. That's a private class. Nobody gets involved in that. It's nothing. None of that goes online. It's a private class where I teach you via Zoom or in person. You get all of your tools that you need, and when you come out of that class, not only you're incorporated, but if you ever want to incorporate again, you now know how to draft your own articles of incorporation or articles of organization. You know how to draft your own banking resolution. You know how to decide whether or not you want preferred stock or whether you want common stock. You know how to set up your the value of your stock, whether you're going to do par or no par, whether you're going to the maximum amount of shares you're going to issue. You'll know all of that. You'll have the tax implications. You'll understand the tax brackets, all of that. If you take the easy corporate comprehensive curriculum for new business owners. But this course right here that we're talking about, this free one, homeownership pre-planning and much, much more, graduating to land ownership, this will equip you as well. And when you walk away from this course and you get this book as a reminder, as a tool that you can use, an instrument that you can use to refer to really quickly for different information that you might need, and down to preparing financial statements in detail, you'll be able to get a lot of stuff done in terms of buying and selling real estate. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to assist you in that way. If you ever have any questions regarding real estate, I'm here. I've been here for a long time. And during that time, I've grown. I've learned quite a bit. And the things that I learned, I pass on so that other people can benefit from them as well. I'm Jacqueline Battle, National Land Realty. And I want to remind you today, this very second, this very moment is the right time for you to purchase real estate or to list your real estate with me. Blessings.